Happy Mahanavami. Welcome all of you. Pranam. So this morning we are going to discuss on life after death. Brilliant topic. We are going to read here to our master Lord Sri Aurobindo on life after death. So this is a brilliant question, brilliant topic. It is of course an uncomparable topic. That's what we are going to discuss right now in our own vision, that is life after death. So usually when we discuss the topic that is life after death, normally 5 questions are coming to our mind. Normally, of course, if you are conscious and if you are aware of something, and if you have really the queries, if really you are interested in knowing, normally 5 questions are coming to our mind. In short brief hours, of course it is not possible to to discuss the content in detail. Of course we are going to quote Sri Aurobindo and sometimes the mother on this topic. That 5 prominent questions that are coming to the picture, to the fore, to our mind, these are actually the moment of death. Number 2, transition from life to afterlife, this life to afterlife, that a transition period. Number 3, what happens after death. Number 4, what persists after death. And finally, the many phases of death. Normally these questions are coming to our mind, and of course it is a big game. In many ways, many formats, many quotations from Mother and Sri Aurobindo, many ways, and lot of times we have discussed this topic from many angles. Now we are going to read it from another angle. Before going to the topic, of course, we are going to discuss a writing that is on quotation from Mother Sri Aurobindo, of course. Life, death, death, life, the words have laid for ages. This is the beautiful. This is Sri Aurobindo's volume 2, CWSA, writings from Sri Aurobindo, volume 2, 216. You can find the lines. Life, death, death, life. The words have laid for ages, not only for today, tomorrow. It is the question of the ages, from the ages. Our thought and consciousness and firmly seemed. Our thought and consciousness and firmly shaped two opposites. Very brilliantly, Sri Aurobindo has tried to explain. Two opposites, but now long hidden pages. Two opposites, but now long hidden pages are opened. Long hidden pages, it was concealed, it was hidden, now are open. Liberating truths undreamed. The truths that was, once it is written, liberating means it was actually bonded. So, liberating truths undreamed, the truths are not at all dreamed. Life only is, or death is life disguised. Life only is, or death is life disguised. Life a short death until by life we are surprised. Life is a short death until by life we are surprised. That's what, there is no death when you know thyself. Immortality assured itself by death. Immortal by renewed mortality. Again, Sri Aurobindo is having a nice observation. Life and death are in fact one, and we may say from different points of view that all death is only a process and a change of life. These are death two words, but they are in fact same. And we may say from different points, different angles of points of view, that all death is only a process and a change of life. All death is a process and a change of life, or that all life is only an activity of death, interrelated. Just imagine, all death is only a process and a change of life, or all life is only an activity of the death. Really, both are one energy whose activity presents to us a duality of aspects. we feel these are there is a duality and a duality of the aspects, but thing is that it is almost in many ways, many centers, it is almost the same. Again we are going to quote the mother, divine mother, on a very nice way. Sri Aurobindo, of course we are going to quote Sri Aurobindo again. I claim for men the peace that shall not fall. I claim for men the peace that shall not fall, that shall not fail. I claim for earth the unwounded timeless bliss. For men I claim peace that never fails. For earth I claim unwounded timeless bliss. I seek God's strength for the souls that suffer in hell. For the souls that suffer in hell, I seek God's strength. God light to feel God's in hell. God light to feel the ignorant abyss. So four things Sri Aurobindo tries to quote. Normally death is a question yet to be answered. That normally time asks, but nature, through the nature things are proceeding. Death we have taken it for granted, because Jatasya hi dhruvam vetu, we have taken it for the granted. So still this message actually it carries a big value. I claim for men the peace that shall not fail. I claim for earth the unwounded timeless bliss. I seek God's strength for souls that suffer in hell. God like to feel the ignorant abyss. The great thing has been explained and of course quoted by the Lord, our Master. Again, when we go for the first question that was been asked, it was written moment of death, and here the Sri Aurobindo, the mother quotes the significance and the reason and the true significance of death. There one line mother has quoted, but if the form can become more quick and the and the cells of the body can be awakened to the change with changing consciousness, form, body, and the cells will be awakened to change with the changing consciousness, there would be no need of drastic dissolution. Death would be no longer inevitable. Because of this decentralization of this cellular process and our body, so death has become necessary. But mother quotes, if actually we can become more quick and plant and the cells of the body can be awakened to the change with the changing consciousness, change to the changing consciousness, there would be no need of a drastic dissolution. Death would be no longer inevitable. Again, while we are going, a mother is having a nice observation. When it is they who have the will to make the best possible use of their life, to make the best possible use of their life means naturally they will be conscious, they will be having an agenda. So so this agenda, to actually signify this agenda, it is they who say, I shall remain here as long as it is necessary. I shall remain here as long as it is necessary to the last second, and I shall not lose one moment to realize my goal. That is what it is. Simple, because they live in their ideal, the truth of their ideal, because that is the real thing for them, the very reason of their being, and all things they see this ideal. So they have decided, they are very much conscious, they are very much aware, and so for them it is a big saying from the mother. So the conclusion here, one must never wish for death, one must never will to die, one must never be afraid to die, and in all circumstances one must will to exceed oneself. Again, this is the great thing that has been quoted by the collected works of the mother, volume 4, 354. That is a great topic, as topic and clarified by the divine mother. Again we find the fear for death. Normally we have discussed the fear for death, why people fear for death, the 11 reasons already we have discussed. But here actually how the things are coming, it has been explained by the mother. The body is not I. This body is not I. and in trying to find in oneself the part which is truly oneself until one has found one's psychic being. That is the major thing, that is the major say, one has to find the psychic being. So here, and when one has found one psychic being, immediately you understand one has the sense of immortality. Just imagine, one has the sense of immortality once the psychic being is found. Again, we can see, I am not going to weep over the pair of shoes I put aside when it is full of holes. When it is gone, when it is full of holes, I don't feel anything in throwing it out like this. But my pair of shoes is whom out I cast it aside, and I don't weep. Well, the psychic being is taken has taken this body because it needed to use it for the work, for the experience, for the growth, for the progress. Again, but there is beautiful observation on sadhus. For the means of knowing that death is not inevitable thing, it is the accident which has been really occurring till now. This is only a accident, nothing else. It is that must be understood clearly. And again we find here very, it is better not to begin the battle. You must be absolutely intrepid hero, absolutely intrepid hero. For at the every step, at your at every second, you have to fight the battle against all established things. That's what the we will be ready. Easy thing, that is of course it is a easy thing, and we have to fight the battle any in all the ways. Again, we are having one beautiful. You have said the one question was there. One can neither hasten nor delay its hour. So that was the question, and most of the time we find ourselves helpless. Continuously, we keep asking questions here and there. But thing is that we must be conscious that the purpose is totally different. Sri Aurobindo has, no, of course, we'll try to quote it from the mother. For mistakes, the best cure is as soon as one begins to feel afraid of something. For the mistakes, as soon as somebody one begins to fear to feel afraid of something. Suppose you feel that you are afraid of something, then it is to think the divine. That is the best case. Already many ways we have seen. If something wrong happens, then repeat, then sit and repeat my name, ma, ma, ma. So if you feel something like afraid of something, then naturally the only process, the only remedy is to think of the divine, and then snuggle in his arms or at his feet and leave him entirely responsible for everything. Then he will take care. Keep sheltered in my arms, mother has quoted. They will protect you against everything. Once the divine, you have put everything aside and taken shelter in the divine, then everything, your problem is solved. So everything that happens within, outside, or everywhere, and immediately the fear disappears. That is the cure of the mistakes. That is the cure of the mistake. It is the easiest of all, but everything does not enjoy the grace of being a mistake. That is what I have to the mistake. That is the characteristic of the mistake. So I have to anything. If something you feel like feel fearing of something, just get shelter. Take the help of the divine. That is what. Again, we have vision, the mother's consciousness. We have seen the mother is quoting, repeating the mother's name while in coma, and he got the best result, best possible result in his way. We'll now go to quote two brilliant lines and transition from life to life, life after life, life to after life. We will try to quote it is mother and Sri Aurobindo, of course Sri Aurobindo when left his body in order to take on his body the pressure of the pressure of the descent of the supramental force, mother force. When I asked him, December 8th, 1950, to actually, of course, resuscitate his body, he clearly answered, I have left this body purposely. Here in this quotation. I have left this body purposely, I will not take it back. I shall manifest again in the past supramental body. I will manifest again. Again and again, I want to quote it. I shall manifest again in the past supramental body built in the supramental way. For that I am prepared. I have to left this body purposely. Again, she will try to quote Sri Aurobindo. Shall I accept death or shall I turn and wrestle with him and conquer? That is the two questions are there. Shall I accept death, surrendering at the death, or shall I turn and wrestle with him and conquer? I shall wrestle and I have to conquer. That shall be as God in me chooses. It is not the question, external or virtual question. That is what to be chosen by the God in Him. He will change. He will actually decide. For whether I live or die, I am always. Just imagine here in this quotation. For whether I live or die, I am always. Here I can remember the line from John Webster's Duchess of Malfi. So that the Duchess is having one beautiful sentence. Whether I live or die, I am Duchess of Malfi still. Again, I will try to go and of course will try to see quote mother very interesting line and to tell the truth mother quotes to tell the truth people burn the dead in the way they destroy the vital, that is what. So there is in mother, it is the advice, don't be in a hurry to cremate. Because here in the mother is also explaining here to tell the truth. If you want to know the truth, to tell the truth, people burn the dead in that way that they destroy the vital. I am sure of it. The idea is not that to have any ghosts. So then you should not be in a hurry, of course, to cremate the body as soon as it is possible. So mother has a beautiful comment on celebrating the ceremonies. Mother quotes beautifully. I'll try to quote her again. So ceremonies are, if anything, rather harmful for the very simple reason when we are busy with a ceremony, you think more about that ceremony only rather than the person. When you are busy with the gestures, moments, or with following up a ritual, you think much more of all than the person who is dead. For that, we don't have that much care really, and we don't, of course, that much. We are not at all aware for that. Again, we'll try to quote Sri Aurobindo one beautiful quotation. There is after death a period in which one passes through the vital world. That is a very dangerous period. Vital world and lives there for a time. It is only the first part of this transit that can be dangerous and or painful. That vital part, transitions first part, it can be dangerous or painful. In the rest of one works out. In the rest, one works out under certain surroundings a riment of the vital desires and instincts which one had in the body. Just here in the course, these vital desires and instincts are like a remnant of the vital desires and the instincts in their body. As soon as one is tired of this, as soon as one is tired of it and able to go beyond after this crossing this vital world, the vital seed is dropped and the soul, after a little time, needed to get rid of some of the mental survivals. After the vital, one goes to the mental world. There itself, mental survival. Then passes into the state of rest in the psychic world and remains there till the next life on earth. Just imagine vital world, dangerous, painful, after crossing this one, mental world. And that after later we have to go to the psychic world for a rest and peace till the next birth is we have taken. Um, Again, one can help the departed soul by one's goodwill or by occult means if he has the knowledge. In two ways, he can be, of course, he can help. One is he can have the goodwill for him. Second, with his occult knowledge, if that knowledge is he has. Again, the thing that one can do, one should not do is to hold them back by sorrow for them or longing or anything else. Sorrow, longing, crying, lamenting, so many things, it will depart, of course, delay the departure. It is painful, harmful. That it would pull them nearer to the earth or delay their journey to the place of rest. That's what Sri Aurobindo has quoted. And again, we will Sri Aurobindo quotes, death is not a cessation of the personal existence. Of course, there is the real fact death is not the shedding of the body nor a cessation of the personal existence. If man is not dead, because he goes into the another country and changes his clothes to suit his climate. So he is not dead. Just simply we are crossing one country and going to another. Suppose that is a different contrary of the, we find the difference of the climate and the condition. So they are according to their the needs of this time and all that condition we change the suits. That's what is that indicative that we are dead. Against you in the having a beautiful observation, what has happened must now be accepted calmly as the thing decreed, and that is best for the progress of the soul from life to life. That is the best for us. That's what we have to take it for granted. Then again, for the spiritual seeker, death is only a passage from one form of another, and of course, none is dead but only departed. It is none is dead, it is one only has departed. Look at that and the seeking from you all reactions of the vital grief, they can't help him in his journey. So this vital grief naturally and in no way is helpful. So this one has to be taken care of. Anyway, Sri Aurobindo has judged in two better ways. Poets make much of death and the external afflictions, but the only tragedies are the soul's failures, and the only epic man's triumphant ascent towards the Godhead. Has been quoted by Sri Aurobindo. And again, Sri Aurobindo, of course, observes, who shall slay thee? Who shall slay thee, O soul immortal? Because soul is immortal, we know. Neither fire can burn it, nor nothing can destroy it. That air, wind can never simply carry it out like this. It is immortal. So, who shall torture thee, O God, ever joyous? Ever joyous God, ever joyous, who shall torture thee? And who shall slay thee, O soul, thou art immortal? Again, we are going to go for the next what happens after death. That is the what Sri Aurobindo is having a beautiful observation on that. We will simply find it out. And here we will try to quote Sri Aurobindo one beautiful sentence. We have to face the future suffer of death. We have to face the future suffer of death. Just imagine offer, future suffer of death we have to accept as its offer of the life. As we have accepted the offer of life, like this we have to offer, we have to face the offer of death. And it need not alarm us, nothing to alarm because this is a continuous process. Birth and death are ceaseless iterations to us. No, we actually problem with us that it is our ignorance. Many birds were there. Now this one is one of them, and after that we have got a number of birds, but we think this is final. That is what the tragedy of life. Then here we have to accept life, death as we accept life. And it need not alarm us, for it is only by constant death to our old names and forms that we shall live most vitally in greater and newer forms and names. This form is not enough, and it has to change. We have to live in the another climb, another state with the new names and the new forms. So that is what we have to take care of, and we need not be worried at all. Again, we will try to find the heaven and hell. They are existing in the soul's consciousness, the mental phenomena during the course. Heaven and hell are at once real and unreal. The both are exist and don't exist. So just imagine here in the how course. Human thoughts are creative. It gives more or less lasting forms to mental, vital, or even the subtle physical substance that is created by the human creative mind. So mother has a beautiful observation on this. Just as you can carry within you a heaven of blissful communion with the divine, you can blissful communion with the divine. That is the feeling of the heaven we can take. You can, if you don't take care of the master of the Asuric tendencies in your nature, also you carry your consciousness a hell of misery and dissolution. So, hell's concept you can find you have a hell of misery and dissolution. There itself we can find communion with the divine or blissfulness. So this is the mental creative concept. Here we are having a nice conclusion on it. Death is but a changing of our robes to wait. Death is but a changing of our robes to wear in waiting garments at the eternal. Just imagine. Waiting, just death is but a changing of our his robes to wear in waiting garments at the eternal gate. Once you get waited, that garment is different. You are so luxurious, and that is like this in waiting garments at the eternal gate. Death is but a changing of the robe to wait. Normally, usually every day you don't put on this dress that is in the bridal dress, bridal alignment. Again, the ghost is not the soul, here in the course beautifully. The ghost is not self. In actual context, the tries to explain it nicely. It is a nice observation, of course. An actual contact with the soul of a departed human being housed in its subtle body and transcribed to our mind by the appearance of an image or hearing of a voice. That is what normally we feel. This is ghost. Second, a mental formation stamped by the thoughts and feelings of the departed human beings. The mental formations of the departed being on the atmosphere of the place or locality, wandering about there or repeating itself till the formation of another either exhausts itself or the dissolved by one means or other. This is the explanation of such the phenomenon which haunted the house. Really, we take for it, it is this phenomenon we think is existing. Again, the being of the lower vital planes who has assumed the discarded vital seed of the departed human being. It is a great thing. A being of the lower vital planes who has assumed the discarded vital seed of the departed human being or a fragment of his vital personality and appears and acts in the form and perhaps with the surface thoughts and of course memories of that person. So that's why we have taken it as he is something like a vital. Temporary possessions here in the quotes here. Temporary possession of people by vital beings who sometimes pretend to be departed relatives, etc. Pretended temporary possession. Thought images of themselves projected upon by the people at the moment of death, which appears at the time a few hours afterwards to their friends and relatives. On the way, you will be finding that he is moving and talking to you. So another way, appropriations, which are formations of one's own mind or take to the senses the objective appearances. Sometimes that's also. But thing is that ghost is not the soul. A being of the lower vital plane who by the medium of living human being or by some other means or agency is able to materialize itself sufficiently so as to appear and act as a visible form or speak with the audible voice or without so appearing. That's what happening as if you are talking to him, you see him, you like him, you find him, what are like this. To move about the material things, it is also there. Furnitures, materialize objects or shift them from place to place, you find it is taken, it is being taken, it has been disturbed, or it has been arranged like this. These accounts for that is called, of course, we know, poltergeists, phenomena of sand throwing, sometimes you find, tree inhabiting, bhutas, or other well-known phenomena you find. But these are things, these ghosts is not the soul. Again, Sri has the beautiful observation on the soul. There is the divine spark from the beginning. This soul, spark soul, the soul. In all things, but it takes a long time and a long evolution for it to arrive at the consciousness, expression, and the form of the manifested being. That is what is we call psychic being. Soul, spark soul. It is the from the spark of the divine here, portion of the divine. But actually, through the development, through the process of development, it becomes psychic being. So, the tries to explain it beautifully. but takes a long time and a long evolution. Long time and a long evolution for it to arrive at the conscious expression and the form of manifesting being that we call usually psychic being. But the thing is that both are same. Coming towards the concluding part, of course, we see the many faces of death we have seen. We can find here the mother. The only solution is for the people to grow wise. That is the only solution. They have to go aware. They have to go wise. And there is, if they are not at all wise, they have to become wise. They accept a law, principle, and then having no wisdom, need to follow it blindly. And Sri Aurobindo having a on death, Sri Aurobindo is having a nice message from the master. Will see death is the question nature puts continuously to life, and her reminder to it that it has not yet found itself. Question is there, but the answer is not found. If there were no seeds of death, if there were no seeds of death, the creature would be bound forever in the form of an imperfect living. So death has its got its blessings, its needs. Otherwise, in the form of an imperfect living. Who's pursued by death, he awakes to the idea of perfect life and seeks out its means and its possibility. That is what the major thing. And towards the end, we will find the divine and the human vision. That is what we have already seen. That is what most of the times we have seen, and we quote it finally to the from the mother's observation. There was something so lovely, so luminous like that, and a very small thing, not a great force of anything, but the lovely, so luminous, so happy, with such a sense of repose. So it is a great question. Most often it is asked to the people. We have the idea. We have the questions. Here Aurobindo is having the solution. Mother is having the repercussion. He is trying to explain in our own words. This is definitely it is fantastic, and we know beautifully that death is a question. Who can answer the question except who has actually returned from the land of death, like Nachiketa we can feel, else who has a rare yogi and the mystic and the experience of the death while living. Experience of death while living, only you have to be something a rare yogi, mystic, and experience. You must be having experience. And Sri Aurobindo has mother, the great Rishi, the great sages in Avatar. They have explained it endowed with the supramental consciousness. They had seen the truth and the truth that lies hidden behind the various phenomena of creation. So here, these are the questions and these are the answer. We must take it for our consideration. We must be grateful to the master and the mother, the great souls, and it will create definitely an impetus and the strength. Most of the things are really we don't know. Almost most of the time we confuse. That's what must be clarified, and we must know. Here is finally the divine, and this birth is not ended. There are so many births are there. Lives are there. We have to lead according to their soul's choice. Everything will be decided. Many worlds, many births we have taken. We have already taken. Here is one of the births, so we must not be in a whirlwind to consider that it is end. It is the entire thing. We have to go and go and go. Many births to be crossed because our destiny, our goal is fixed in the supramental creation, and the Sri Aurobindo has already stated he will born as the first supramental being. So, as the follower and the lover of Mother and Sri Aurobindo, we must have the we must be voluntary optimistic, and with the voluntary optimistic vision, we will try to face the world. Vande Mataram.